Hey guys, this is Nick from Avid Automotive. Shooting another video about a pretty hot topic in the automotive industry, which is automotive maintenance. From the repair shop side, it's the question of, should I sell it? Should I sell maintenance kind of above and beyond what the manufacturer says? Should I not sell the customer anything at all because I'm, screwing them out of money, or that stuff really isn't necessary, or my grandfather said don't ever change your transmission fluid or the car is going to explode, or blah blah blah. And from the vehicle owner side, you have, kind of like, hey, how long am I going to keep this car? Should I do this work? Is this stuff really necessary? My buddy went 200,000 miles with never changing his brake fluid, and he's fine. So it's kind of a hot topic. And in my opinion, at my shop, we sell anything that the manufacturer recommends. Obviously it's the customer's choice. I don't call you and say, if you don't do, your cabin air filter, your car is going to explode. But we do try to sell all of the differential oils at least every 50,000 miles. We recommend, coolant every 100,000 miles. Spark plugs, we kind of just recommend whenever the manufacturer states that it should be replaced. Sometimes if the spark plugs call for 150,000 mile, intervals, or, change your spark plugs every 150,000 miles. Sometimes we kind of tell, the vehicle owner, like, hey, you might want to consider doing these a little earlier. But anyway, the point being is, one of the ways that people kind of determine what they should do on their car is they look at the service schedule. They go in the owner's manual and it says, hey, at this many miles, you should do an oil change, at 5,000 miles. And then at 10,000 miles, you should do an oil change and a tire rotation. And then at 20,000 miles, you should, change the air filter and cabin filter, and kind of so on and so forth. The thing is that you got to remember that auto manufacturers kind of have two main objectives with your car. One of them is to get the car through the warranty period with kind of the lowest cost to them. So, what do we have to do to this car? How do we have to tell the customer to maintain this car to just get it out of our hair until it's out of warranty? And then another thing that auto manufacturers shoot for is kind of the lowest cost of ownership. So for example, you buy a Honda, great car, one of my favorites, and you look in the service manual and it kind of really doesn't call for much maintenance. And the reason behind that is they kind of want you to drive that car for 100,000 miles and kind of think to yourself, well, hey, it's got 100,000 miles on it. I want a new car. But the nice part is that the whole time I owned this car, I didn't really have to do anything. So besides the cost of the car and the payments and the insurance and gas and oil changes and stuff, it really didn't cost me that much. I didn't have to go in every, X amount of miles and get a $300 service here or $200 service here. It didn't break down and fall apart on me. And that's fine, except for the fact that people today are keeping their cars way longer than the manufacturer ever thought it was going to, the customer was going to drive the car. So cars that used to get traded in at 100,000 miles, 125,000 miles, people are driving them to 200,000 miles. And kind of right now, all the automotive manufacturers are slowly starting to slip in these services back into their service schedule. So, BMW was a car that, they used to have this transmission fluid. Well, it wasn't a different transmission fluid, but you'd look on the transmission pan and it would say lifetime oil fill. So, you never have to change it. But the thing is they don't mean that you can drive that car till the end of time with the same transmission fluid in it. BMW just thinks a lifetime of their car is like 100 to 125,000 miles, because usually by that time the customer traded it in, it went to auction, it ended up, at some car dealer, and somebody who, should have never bought the car did, and now it's their problem. So in my opinion, I think that it is very important to change every fluid in the car. and change your spark plugs and your coolant and your filters and kind of do all this maintenance, because it is a guaranteed line of defense against failure. Is changing your transmission fluid going to keep a common failure transmission from blowing up because the manufacturer made a mistake? Absolutely not. But changing and servicing the fluid and maintaining a good transmission that has a pretty long life expectancy, you're gonna get that time out of it. Transmission fluid at a certain temperature over a certain course of time degrades, falls apart, starts to varnish, and will inevitably be the end of that transmission. So from a repair shop side, if you're a service advisor and you're selling this work, and you're working at a shop, or if you're a service manager or a shop owner, I usually say, come up with a game plan. Sell your rear differential service, your front differential service, your transmission service, your transfer case service. So all the mechanicals of the drivetrain, sell those fluids at least every 50,000 miles. If you look in the service schedule and it says to do it earlier, that's great. That's an easier way to sell it. Hey, this car company's saying to change it at 30. If you want to wait till 50, that's probably not going to do anything. But, the maintenance schedule is selling the work for you. You just have to tell the customer. And I always tell customers, I say, listen, this is your choice. You don't have to do this. If you don't want to change your fluids, or if you tell me, hey, I'm trading the car in next year, a lot of people say that and then don't, and that's a whole other story. But if I just say, this is your choice. We all know that we don't have to drive the car. You have to drive the car. So if you want to maintain it to the highest level and try to keep it for, 250, 300,000 miles, let's do it. But if you don't want to do it, no pressure. And from a consumer side, don't get me wrong, maintenance does get expensive. It's not cheap, but what else isn't cheap? A new car at today's interest rates. That's way more expensive than a couple transmission fluid services. I'll leave you guys with this. Personally, I think that every car should have all the fluids changed in it at some service schedule, roughly in between 30 and 60,000 miles. You should do it. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, or once again, if you want me to shoot another video like this, please let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to do that for you. But have a great day, and good luck out there.